Hey, yo. Check it.
Welcome back, Hir-O.
My word is my sword, Hokage and Batosai, pulling the blades out of the forge, yo. Prior to my knowledge of the Force, was thinking Jedi, but through obtaining holocrons from both sides, I'm under gray skies. Everything that glitter ain't kyber crystal, my mind to lift you. In this time we shine together, disarm your pistol, yo. Welcome to the SwordCast. My wordplay, my swordplay when blades clash.
Yeah.
Welcome to the
SwordCast. You got 3 screens today.
3 screens. Look, man. Welcome to episode 41 of the SwordCast. A very special guest today. Who do we have in the house today? Hir-O?
Yes, sir. We got a SwordCast Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer. One of my very best and oldest friends. The legend himself, my childhood partner in crime. It's Edmund. Edmund, also known as Art of Rufus, an incredible artist, mixed media, just an all-around good guy. Like I said, one of my best and oldest friends. So glad to have you on the podcast, bro.
Yes. Oh man, first time, long time, fellas. I appreciate this. Appreciate the honor of being the first guest star. Thank you. Oh
yes,
man, always wanted to do this. So yeah.
And,
go ahead, Naf.
And we are extra excited because Edmund, like myself, is a diehard fan of what I view as the greatest show ever, Avatar: The Last Airbender. And we are going to finally talk about Avatar: The Last Airbender on this episode. So I'm excited, man. Episode 41, episode Dirk Nowinski.
I wasn't gonna take that one from me. I knew that was coming. Let's see. I got the big loaf of bread. Oh wait, no, that's not him. Nikola Merchik. He plays for Eagles. No, he plays for. Does he play for the Eagles now? Merchik, yeah. Mirchik. He plays for the Pelicans right now, I think.
Okay.
At first, I was thinking of the loaf of bread, the guy that plays for Denver. You can't tell me that. What's my man's name? The center. I can't think of his name, but he looks like a loaf of bread, and you can't tell me otherwise.
Episode Glenn Rice.
Glenn Rice. Who else is there? Weak ass Garrett Temple was fucking number 41. He was also number 17. I was never a huge fan of Garrett Temple and him having 2 of the wackest numbers of all time, with the exception of Dirk being a Hall of Famer. Everybody else, you know what I'm saying?
Quick funny sidetrack. Glenn Rice lit my stepdad up in high school basketball. Episode Lorenzo Neal. He was like a legendary fullback. He was in the NFL for like 500 years. And that does it for the sports section of the SwordCast.
So we're gonna borrow something from another podcast that's super influential of our show. One of my favorite podcasts, the Daily Zeitgeist. Shout out to Miles Gray and Jack O'Brien. Right, Edmund, we're gonna jock their guest introduction. So, what is something from your search history that's revealing about who you are?
All right, I'm gonna give you 2 answers. One, because once again, first time, long time. I did go ahead and Google a couple of numbers. So Alvin Kamara, I'm gonna go ahead and throw that out there.
Hey,
oh my goodness, how could I not?
That's excellent.
I'm a fan.
And I was also surprised. I forgot, or I didn't know Jameer Nelson was a Pistons, and also had 41. So
the reversal of number 14.
14, that's right.
So I'm glad I could contribute on that. But more telling about where I am right now in my life, I Googled one of the many shrines in Breath of the Wild since I've been powering through, catching up on that. And I just do not have the brain power, time, energy to want to try to solve all of these.
Bro, there's so many. There's like 150 of them bitches.
And I'm like,
time consuming.
See, and I'm right now, since I've played through 3 of the beasts on my friend's Switch, and then now that I have my own finally because of quarantine, I'm powering through it again. And now I know, I'm just going to go ahead and just get all the shrines as much as possible so I can get 13 hearts, so I can go ahead and get that Master Sword again and get my stamina up. So
it's worth it.
That's what you're going to do.
I did that on my second playthrough too. I did all the shrines, and I just dedicated like 3 days to just doing all the shrines. And I got so Link, by the time I was done, before I even got to the first beast, pretty much, Link was a fucking, he was on steroids. Like, he couldn't be stopped.
I did 1 beast already. I'm on the second beast now. So I tried to mix it up a little bit more, especially since you get a heart container when you take out a beast. So I'm like, all right, I can get close to 13 if I at least knock out 1 or 2 of them. So that's been the most revealing recent Google.
That's what's up, man.
Like it. Check your Sheikah slate.
Yeah. Right. Check your prehistoric iPad. Straight up cell phone out here.
We're gonna give you a Switch within the Switch.
Right. Wakandan levels of technology that should not exist in that area of time.
Right.
Oh, that should be an exhibit version of Legend of Zelda. Like, I heard you like Switches. So when you put Switch in the Switch,
so you put
game of the Switch.
In the Switch. Play the game on the game.
So that kind of leads us into what we're into here. So Edmund, it sounds like you've been into the Breath of the Wild. What else have you been into, bro? Lately?
I've been with this quarantine shit. You got a lot of time. You got a lot of downtime. I just finished my last year teaching, so I had to teach from home technically. So I had a lot of downtime to catch up on stuff. So I've just been powering through a lot of video games, as you guys discussed, a couple weeks ago. Been trying to get through some anime, even though I fell off a little bit.
Bro, we gotta. He's trying to fall off the Naruto wagon, bro. We gotta get him. He's not quite at the tuning exams yet. I'm just telling you, bro. Just make it to the tuning exams.
Once you get to the tuning exams, it's a fun roller coaster from there, man. You just got to get to the tuning exams.
It's just because I've experienced such high quality stuff more recently,
right?
That build off of this. It's really hard, and I'm getting these flashbacks of like Dragon Ball Z times when you got 8 episodes of somebody charging up, and it's the same conversation, it's the same fight.
And that's kind of the thing with shonen. You gotta watch the building block ones. You can't watch the finished building. You know what I'm saying? You can't jump into shonen by watching My Hero and then going back and watching
it wasn't off of my recommend. It wasn't my decision. Somebody recommended it. I was calling them out. And
wait a minute, bro. I straight up told you. I told you
the wrong order. In his defense, I gave him a list of animes. I'm like, yo, during this quarantine, I'm about to start on these. Which one do you recommend first?
Hold on. Wait a minute. Immediately though, as soon as I answered this question, I was like, you should do your Naruto homework first, though. Like, that's going to be important to put everything in perspective.
Yeah, because if you do that first, right, you would almost appreciate the show even more, because every time a shonen comes out, they just clip away the things that were bad about the one before. So now you got shows like My Hero and shows like Demon Slayer, and they're like very close to like 100% perfect.
No, I definitely pick up even from the first couple episodes. I'm like, all right, I definitely see where everything has been building.
Yeah, like they just move.
So you know what I mean? I have the respect for it. It's just getting into it this late in the game at my age. I'm not in the mental shape anymore where I can just assume that.
I should have, you're right though, in your defense, I should have like really insisted, like, wait, in order to really get this, you should do this first. I mentioned that like Naruto was the core. You need to do, and I very specifically worded it as Naruto homework, because I knew he wasn't going to like, it's a lot, bro. It's a long form anime. They don't make animes like that anymore. It's a chore sometimes. Once you get into it, bro, the payoff is fantastic. It's worth it. So keep it up.
I'm going to. Sometime this week, I'll commit to it again. I promise. I'll get back on it. It's just how long you got to fight on this bridge with this dude.
Nah, man. You're so wow. You're
under still under like episode 13, 14. I think.
So you're watching the Zabuza fight with the mirrors and Haku. Yeah, that's early, man. That's like freshman in high school Naruto.
Yeah, for sure.
But you can do it, man. I believe in you, man. You will be Hokage one day. All right, man. So yeah, bro, what are you into currently, Hir-O?
Oh, man, I've been having a video game crisis. I actually have. I'm just being honest, dog. Like, there's nothing that's gonna scratch the itch except for that's it. That's the only thing that's gonna satisfy my video game urge right now. And I want to play video games to kind of just decompress and just sort of some leisure activity. But nothing that I play is like satisfactory. So I thought I had the solution. I thought I was going to go back and just finish The Witcher because that's about 30 days worth of game remaining. And The Witcher's a great game. I love playing it. Going to your Witcher. Right. I just kind of got a little bit bored of it just because it's just a huge game. Yeah. So then instead today what I did was I am actually watching The Last of Us, the movie version, like where I'm just watching a playthrough. And I might go ahead and play The Last of Us 2 because it's been getting rave reviews. And I hadn't played the first one, so I'm, if it turns out that could be the perfect distraction until Ghost of Tsushima comes out. But really, what I'm into right now is just trying to figure out how to survive until Ghost comes out. That's pretty much it. Right. What about you?
So my answer is kind of crazy this time, right? I recently had, so when I was a kid, I was obsessed with like this crazy Japanese wrestling called FMW. And my favorite wrestler was this wrestler named Hayabusa. If you guys never heard of him, look him up. Dude is amazing. Rest in peace. He died a few years ago, unfortunately. But so basically when I was a kid, the only way I could like get his tapes and things like that was there was this guy named Brett, and he was like super famous in the wrestling community online, right? Because everybody would go to him. And I recently randomly stumbled upon his Twitter, and he's like still active and everything. And I wrote him a message like, "Yo, man, you were like my hero when I was a kid, out here searching for these Japanese wrestling tapes." And he wrote me back, man. It was pretty dope. So I've just been watching like a lot of old Hayabusa matches, man. Super amazing wrestler from the late 90s and early 2000s.
So, Edmund, if you remember WCW World Tour, he was on that game, but his name was Hannibal instead of Hayabusa.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to Google that.
Yeah,
man. He was on they had a lot of sneaky Japanese wrestlers on WCW versus NWO World Tour, man. That game was classic.
Hell yeah.
The fighting engine is still present in today's games, which is truly remarkable.
Like 25 years later.
It's time to do it, man. It's time to get into the meat and potatoes. So yeah, man, Avatar: The Last Airbender. I've said it before on the show. You guys know that it's my favorite show. I would literally watch it once a year, and I've been doing it every year for probably the past maybe 10 years. I watch it every year, man. I watch it at least once all the way through, but I usually do it in the wintertime, right? I usually do it in the winter, but since I have it on DVD, but since Netflix, put it up, and Hir-O, you went back to start your rewatch, and so I decided to get on it at the same time and watch it all the way through, and I love it, man. So just what are your thoughts on the show after finishing it and watching it all the way through?
Yeah. Hold on, sorry. Had to turn on the light. Then I tripped and fell over something, and now I'm looking. God damn it!
Slappapow!
Right. Okay, we're back on deck.
We need a soccer soundbite, bro. I'm starving.
So the backstory is I remember watching The Last Airbender early, like late high school. And I come to find out that I actually never watched book 3. I don't think I ever saw book 3 because
and we talked
it was
about
in college.
And we talked about that because people our age, that's what happened to us. I remember watching, faithfully watching seasons, book 1 and book 2 all the way through, and then book 3 came out when we were off to school. You know what I mean? So I had to come home and watch it. So
I just didn't have a lot of access to like. I mean, there was plenty of stuff to watch, but like niggas didn't have cable like that in college. You know what I'm saying?
Excuses,
right? So
find a way.
I mean, the internet wasn't like what it is now, where you can just find anything instantly. It was.
You could have like, that shit.
I mean, I could have, but I was also
share.
I mean, anyways, I didn't get around to it. So seasons 1 and 2, or books 1 and 2, I vaguely remember. But because even when I watched them the first time, it was like sort of in the background. Like it was not a thing that I watched like really, traditionally I wasn't like dedicated to it. And I'm not really sure why. I'm not really sure. I don't, because I was, I was at a boarding school when I was in high school too. So like, it was just, my access to TV was very like intermittent. I didn't just sit in front of a TV after school all the time. And there was a lot of things that I missed out on. And I think Avatar probably would have been one of them that would have stuck to me had I been able to really consistently watch it. Because what I find out now is that it really is sort of the perfect show for my sensibilities, especially back that age, and even still now, man. It's a martial arts cartoon that is not just about the fighting. Like, it's also extremely philosophical, and it brings
so much in that show.
Yeah, it brings the mindfulness of martial arts into the martial arts, which is something that you never see in kids' cartoons. So I really was very, very impressed with it. It's right up there. It instantly becomes one of my favorite cartoons. I think it's fantastic.
Word. Edmund, what about you, man? What's your Avatar: The Last Airbender journey?
Oh my God, I feel like I remember watching it as it was premiering, because it was like 2005, 2006, so freshman year. I think we just happened, because I lived off campus, so I think we just had cable for a little bit. So I was able to check it out fairly regularly. Even if I fell off by the end, I am a recovering hotep. I know some people in the conscious community, so they always did bring that up because it was just the philosophy of it, the deeper meanings of everything, was just so powerful that they were also helping to promote it. Like, and that's how I got my first. The Baba, the guru, my teacher down there, he certainly hooked us up with like, hey, if you need some information, here's a jump drive, and included on that jump drive was all 3 seasons. So I was like, boom, here's my first.
That's fire.
Here's my first way to binge it and rewatch all of that and get caught up again. Did it over a Christmas break and just kept rewatching as often as possible, usually, unfortunately, by not so legal means, until recently, and already have gone through the series about 2 times since it's been on Netflix.
That's what's up.
Impressive. It's only been on Netflix for like 30 days.
Well, yeah, it's a good show. I mean, I'll admit some episodes I know I've seen enough times where I'm just like, all right, I could skip through this one. Let me consider it. But for the most part, I've still been watching straight through.
Absolutely. That's what's up, man. My boy. I made Snook. But no, man, I remember. So, yeah, that's what's up. I can't resist my Darth Sidious impressions, man.
Kill the girl.
That's my favorite one.
Do it.
Kill the girl.
Right.
I hate him, but I love him so much at the same time.
He's great, bro. One of the best parts about the prequels is how much fun Ian McDermott was having. Isn't that his name? Ian something?
Yep. Yeah, he
was having playing that role. I mean, he didn't give a fuck, man. He was like, yo, I'm about to overact my ass off. And I'm here. I got nothing but love for overactors. That's one of my favorite things.
And that's dope. And how about this? How about a Star Wars Avatar connection? Mark Hamill does the voice of Iron Lord Ozai. So that's what's up, man. But yeah, man, my Avatar journey. Well, yeah, I remember watching it when it was premiering, man, and I just remember, watching it, and I thought it was dope, right? But then there was this episode called The Storm. And that episode is the one that really showed, because I was already obviously a big anime fan at the time. And that episode, The Storm, is really what kind of made me be like, yo, this is not like a kid's cartoon. Like, you know what I mean? Like this is going to be a really amazing show. So I do remember catching it when it was premiering. And like I said, I went to college. And I didn't catch all of book 3 when it was premiering live. But what I did was when the DVDs dropped, I just went and bought them all. And then I just watched it all the way through, like my freshman year in college. So, yeah, man, love the show. That's my journey with it. And like I said, man, I watch it literally once a year, every year, all the way through. Probably I'm going to watch it even more now that it's so easy. It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
So with that said, we did talk about, I just want to bring this up real quick, right? Because there's so much good philosophy in this show. There's so many like amazing quotes. If you can remember, or you can look one up real quick, what's like one quote that you really, really love from the show?
I mean, shit, bro. Hir-O stayed throwing the fireballs. Man. You know what I'm saying? Like almost everything he said was amazing. I can't think of one. Edmund, you got one off the top of your head?
Hey, definitely not. If you can look one up if you want.
Already on it.
Yeah, man. So I know one off the top of my head just because it's my favorite.
Oh, I already know. I know yours too, I think.
Yeah, man. You know, me being a practitioner of Chinese swordsmanship, I love when Master Piandao says to Sokka, the way of the sword doesn't belong to any one nation. Knowledge of the arts belongs to us all. Wow. Boom.
Oh, bro, that's fire, but that's not what I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to do the one about... Turtle quote. Yes. Yeah. Because I know that's been in some verses before.
Yeah, I really love that one too. I don't know if I know it off the top of my head, but that's my other favorite one, man. When the lion turtle at the end of book 3 teaches Aang to bend the energy within, right? And he tells him, what does he say? Since beginningless time, darkness thrives in the void, but always yields to purifying light, or something like that. Amazing.
That's some straight Yoda shit right there.
Amazing. That is my other favorite quote. And then, as we say, Aang just overstood Ozai.
Straight up opened his third eye.
Let me
awaken that man.
Let me awaken your spirit real quick, but at the expense of your living for life.
I mean, it's, since you mentioned it.
There we go. He has become a wolf.
No, it just scared me. I was looking at my phone. Baby. Hey, I think the fact that I got that quote right, word for word, but those are my 2 favorite quotes. But bro, when you come busting through it, it's like a Kool-Aid man.
Oh shit!
Oh yeah.
The one that, just looking it up real quick, there was one that I remember that I can personally relate to because anybody who knows anything about me, you know, I am somebody who is a confident person, but like the other side of confidence is like insecurity and like uncertainty, right? So one of the things that Hir-O said to Zuko was pride is not the opposite of shame, but it's its source. And I was like, bro, that shit is real. Because that for me, for my own personal journey, like a lot of the reason why I am ashamed or have things that I was, you know, ashamed of or felt some type of way about was because of my own insecurities, right? And so it really just kind of spoke to me. And even as an adult, that's still something that I'm working out. But having that self-awareness has really helped me to kind of move past it. So that one was really poignant, for sure.
Love it, man. So,
yeah.
You got one, Edmund?
I mean, the main one that I always go to didn't come from the show. It was a meme of, you know, be the person that Uncle Hir-O would want you to would be proud of, kind of thing. I'm just like, yo, that's, because I've always been that type of person. Like, if somebody tells me they're disappointed, I couldn't take it if Uncle told me that. Like, I just,
that sucks.
So, off of a quick Google, the main one coming as a visual artist and somebody who's trying to, you know, dabble in a lot of things. The main one that came from Hir-O was it's important to draw wisdom from many different places. If you take it from one place, it becomes rigid and stale. Understanding others and other elements in the other nations will help you become whole. And that whole aspect of like it, even though the quote is always like, you know, shortened out and people don't really pay attention to the full thing when they say, you know, jack of all trades, master of none. They never finish the rest of that line, which is better than master of one. And it's like, yo, diversify your bond. You know, Wu-Tang Financial, diversify your bond. You know,
you need to diversify your bonds.
And even though I still don't fully follow through on that, of like, yo, I need to really break out of my stubbornness and my rigidness with my art, to really experiment with new styles and new ideas. Still in the back of my head, like, all right, every time I'm approaching a new piece, I'm like, all right, what can I do to try to do this at least a little bit differently than what I'm using, and I'm comfortable with.
Also, by the way, before we end, we're gonna obviously shout you out and shout all your social media out, but you gotta show us some of your shit before we leave too.
I can't.
I'm literally looking at a bunch of art right behind you.
You see, this is my room, and in my room, I've always made it that I normally don't have my work up. These are some other people's. Except for
I happen to know. I was about to say, dog. I happen to know for
sure.
Two of them
here I put up. Nice.
I'm just saying.
I mean, I had a digital background I was going to do, but I decided to try to, you know, make it look a little bit more professional.
Hey man, well, as long as we get to see some samples before we end here, that's all we care about. That's all we want.
Fire. Amazing. Look at that.
Fire. Hey man, he's the real deal, bro.
He is amazing, guys.
All that old stuff.
Man, make sure y'all check him out. We're gonna give y'all his social media before we bounce out of here. But yo, staying on the Avatar lane, real quick. Hir-O, what's your favorite bending style?
Yo, great question. So, I got two. I'm going to end up with one answer, but I kind of have two. So the one that I think is the coolest is probably water bending. Just because it looks sweet. It has a lot of applications. They all really are they all are just really, really, you can do so much with all of them.
Yeah.
But the one that I think has the coolest looking martial arts that are attached to it, just like the body movements, is earthbending. That shit be looking sweet. It's so strong. I tend to really like so one of my favorite types of Chinese martial arts is like Shaolin Kung Fu, and all of their movements are super grounded. Like everything is planted, strong, like horse ride stance. And I love those like the stomping moves where you like stomp first and then gather yourself into an attack.
Muay Thai.
Yeah, I love that. I know like in Tekken, Fang Wei has a lot of moves like that. That's why he's my favorite character. So I think the one that looks the coolest, the one that has the best martial arts attached to it is earthbending. But if I was to be a bender, the one that I would probably choose is water bending.
Ooh, I like it. What about you, Edmund?
Almost the same response. Only, and I'm gonna try not to get too spoilery, Omari. But because of characters, in fact, now I've already mentioned it a little bit. Because of Zaire and Korra, yes. I have a higher respect and appreciation for airbending, especially because something happens that I've always wondered, like, would they ever actually do that? Oh, he did it. Okay,
and he does it.
I think I know what you're talking about. You're talking about he flies, right,
bruh?
That too.
Okay, all right. We'll see what happens.
That's why I'm
I remember you talking about that earlier or something. Somebody was talking about it. But okay, well, we won't spoil it. We'll talk about it later. We're getting.
But he does something that you're like, oh, perfectly. That's exactly what you.
Because I was actually thinking, this might be a hot take, and maybe I'm about to be proved wrong. But if you really look at how to apply all of the elements, in my opinion, I felt like, and maybe I'll be wrong, that airbending was probably the least broad in terms of how you could apply it.
I think I will say you probably won't feel like that when you watch more of Korra. You know what I mean? Yeah. Korra kind of explores airbending a little more, but with that said, Aang was an amazing airbender, though.
Yeah, no, he made that shit look easy.
He was, because the things he was doing were very difficult. Even riding on that stupid ball.
Yeah. That air beast ball.
Yeah, that's not easy to do. So yeah, man, my favorite element was water. I love it. I love the movements. I just love the water bending, and that's my favorite. I think fire bending does look very cool. Zuko,
that shit looks sweet. The kicks.
Yeah, there's a lot of footwork. There's some taekwondo in there. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of Zuko is definitely got some of the most athletic of the bending styles for sure.
No doubt.
It's like, honestly, I want to gush about all four of the elements just for a moment, because just because of Uncle Iroh, season 2 when he's like, did I ever tell you how I became known as the Dragon of the West?
Right.
and he still is running out the room. Let me get you one last blast.
Right.
And we'll talk about it with the episodes, but just some of the other fight scenes with the fire, back and forth. And I mean, my favorite, and because of personality wise, I feel like I would be naturally an earthbender because I'm just that stubborn. Yeah. At times, more often than not.
Yes, I can concur to that.
I feel like I've grown a lot since I've established that, that reputation, but I still acknowledge I'm quite stubborn. And just because of, couple of my favorite characters, I just love that style more than anything else out of what they decided to apply with it. So.
Word, man. So, yeah, man, I love those answers. I think that's another good way to look at it. I do think I would be a waterbender. Just, I'm a water sign. I'm a Scorpio. I just think that water, the element in general, fits my personality. So I think I would be a waterbender. But
well, if that's the case, well, we might as well just go full circle. If that's the case, and I'm obviously a firebender. Like, there's no fire. Nigga, hot take like a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Hot takes.
But yeah, man, with that said, it is time. We're doing 2 today because we're focusing on Avatar the entire episode. Let's get into our first top 5 of the day. My favorite part of the show. I think everyone's favorite part of the show. Let's do the first one. Let's let the guest go first.
Yes, sir.
Shit. Oh, the pressure.
Don't mess it up. Start at the bottom. Go up and be like Hir-O.
Right. Don't repeat numbers.
Edmund, I need your top 5 favorite Avatar: The Last Airbender characters ever.
All right. So any given day, I feel like any of these numbers and characters would swap around a little bit. Until we get to number 1 and number 2, those are always consistently.
That's kind of how mine is. My 1 and 2 are always the same, but everybody else, man, it depends on how I'm feeling when I'm watching the show for the 20th time.
Oh my God! Yeah. So I am gonna copy off of y'all a little bit and at least throw out 2 honorable mentions. Katara, because badass. Katara, and also because of the fun theory I came across in the video was that if Aang had lived his normal life, chances are Katara probably would have been the next Avatar because of how experienced she actually becomes with the water bending.
I love it.
Like,
that's such a good idea.
How dope she was. It's just that because of that 100-year gap, she missed her chance. But and the second honorable mention, May, rolling with Azula, just because growing up, I always loved Daria. And she's the Avatar equivalent to that. And even especially in high school, probably even right now, people listening to my voice and be like, yo, put some inflection in there at some point. She's like a spirit animal for me. But getting into that top 5, I had to go with a dark horse that I didn't think anybody was going to have at all. And because I love being an earthbender, I would love to be an earthbender. And also when I put it on Facebook with, one of those like, hey, which Avatar character do you think I would be? People kept telling me my number, who turned out to be my number 5, King Boomy. From the
I love it.
Totally.
I've always been a fan of the, hey, this crazy person we got to ignore and, underestimate and we shouldn't take seriously. And then they turn around and are a great badass, like Yoda, Boomy. I'm sure there's some others that I can't think about on the spot right now because I'm not, quick in the mind. I don't have a big brain. But he set a very high standard of what the most badass earthbender could be. And, escaping from that fire, is escaping from capture in his own city, using nothing but his head. While captured inside the thing, cover up my face. So.
Aang showed up to save him, and Boomy was like, "Bro, I'm good.
All right, don't worry about it." Hey, go ahead.
I will take this entire army by myself when I feel like it.
Right. When I see fit,
I will whoop ass.
Sidebar. Great Sokka moment when they are when King Boomy has Sokka and Katara in the crystals and they're taking over their bodies and he says he won't let him go until Aang figures out his name and Sokka says, I know his name. It's like he's an earthbender, right? Rocky.
Retry. We'll come back to that.
Rocky. He was so confident.
Bro. He was so serious and confident, bro. I love it. Because of the rocks.
Thank you, Sokka. But yeah, I just found him to be badass and crazy look, crazy design, crazy voice. It just all comes together very well. Clearly, like inspired by Yoda to some degree, I'm sure. And yeah, number 5. Number 4, we're going with the Prince himself, and soon to be Fire Lord by the end, Zuko. Great character arc, great growth. Just love the story for him. Came across another take on that he's like really the true protagonist of the whole show. And like he's just awesome. He's a badass. He's underestimated within his own family. Azula's clearly a more powerful bender, but he is able to put it all together because he's willing to listen to Uncle, and grow and just become a better person. And I would love to see with all the characters, and that's the other reason I'm a little frustrated with Korra. With all the characters, but especially with him, I would have loved to see more of that character growth between Last Airbender and Legend of Korra. Just at least a couple of years in between, to find out how everybody's been, and how they grow to where they end up going. Number 3, probably one of the more underrated characters. He made a great name suggestion though of Rocky. Sokka. Because again, underestimated character. I love when they finally give him his chance to shine in all his episodes. I love his moon sword. I wish they settled the mystery of it if he ever gets it back. I never read the comics. I did
read the comics, and they haven't brung it up yet. But I do. Hey, look. So I have an official. This is a licensed official poster, and it's in my room, and it's licensed and it's official, and it's a poster, and it says "Old Friends," and it's everybody as adults, and Sokka has the space sword on his hips. He finds it somehow. They haven't explained how, but he definitely gets
the space sword. I fucking love it, Doug.
Right. Sokka, just love that shit. Dope guy.
Genius.
He's a genius. I love corny jokes. I wish I was as smart and funny and witty as he is. To put it all together. I love the fact that somebody put it on the meme as well. I'm gonna quote a lot of memes of how between the Avatar and this great general mastermind of Sokka, you put the two of them in a room and they're complete idiots all of a sudden.
Wait, yo, real quick, one of the perfect examples of that was when Toph and Katara were going to that banquet and they were getting ready, and then they come back out and fucking Aang and Sokka are playing like rock paper fucking Avatar, and they lose and he slaps them in the head. They just look like the two Stooges. It was so good.
Bro, I gotta bring this up now. I love the episode where Aang goes to the Fire Nation school and he gets in trouble. And so he comes in there in the principal's office and he's like, and he tells him his name, Fire! Wang Fire!
Fire!
Sapphire Fire!
Oh, God, yeah. He's just awesome. Gosh.
Dude is hilarious.
All right, so far so good. Got my numbers right. Number 2.
Boom.
Again, these two could switch back and forth. Just because I want to get nostalgic real quick, I saved my number 1 for number 1 this time. But number 2, we got to go with the Blonde Bandit. Talk. She's historically always been my favorite character. Great representations, my blindness is not a weakness. I can do something. I don't have.
It's a superpower. Not only is it not a weakness, it's a superpower.
It's an advantage compared to you, motherfuckers. And just everything. Talking about that, so the Sozin's comment. For the last fight scene.
Yeah.
Oh man,
with the whole armor.
Rolls into the
Iron Man suit, dog. Let's go.
Come on, Toph.
Just that scene alone, just that by that point, I was just like, yo, I'm in love with her.
No doubt.
Toph is an animal.
Just a beast. Doesn't care. Yo, I'm blind. I can't see myself. I don't give a fuck what y'all think of me. I just want my life as is. And that's goals one day. At some point, I'll stop caring. And then finally, number 1, Hir-O.
Hey,
Dragon of the West. Got to.
What a top 5!
That's a super solid top 5.
I love that, man.
Hir-O, he hits me on so many different levels. Because he's a person almost anybody would aspire to be. Despite the fact that he's technically a warlord in a form of conqueror, he probably killed a shit ton of people. But he's just got so much heart. He's got so much compassion. He's got so much patience. He's got so much care to give to anybody he comes across.
Let me offer this just kind of as just a different viewpoint on Hir-O. Taking into consideration the Order of the White Lotus, right? Mm-hmm. I kind of would think that even though he was doing these things, we don't really know when he became a member of the White Lotus. But since he's such a high-ranking member, I would assume that he's kind of had that mindset for a long time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I mean,
possibly doing the absolute minimum to do what he needed to do, but maybe definitely not like overdoing it. You know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, I could see that being the possibility. It just seems. I like that even more because it makes it even that much more tragic about his son. Because I've been trying to not go down this route completely. I have to keep my cover. I'm the firstborn. I'm probably going to be a next fire lord at some point.
Right. Did you cry in Tales of Ba Sing Se?
That was tough.
On his son's birthday.
Sometimes I'm kind of into hurting myself, so I just listen to the song every so often, and it just takes me back. So
bro, I will level with y'all. So the first time I watched that, or this time around, it caught me by surprise how how emotional I got. So I ended up, I had to go back a couple episodes and catch back up. And I flat out skipped it. I was like, you know what? Because kind of, where I'm at, emotionally, I kind of was like, you know what? I don't know if I should watch this shit again. You know what I'm saying? So I had to skip it.
Yeah.
That is such a heavy episode. And that episode is amazing, by the way. But all right, man. I love your top 5, man. It was very, very good. Very unique.
I do want to do a shout out, especially because of Hir-O, the actor. Love him. I grew up with a couple other movies with Mako in it. Plus, I did not realize until I did a Wikipedia search the other day, he was also a big part of everybody's childhood.
Yes, sir.
Because at the ending credits for Dexter's Laboratory, he was a part of that.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that he was Aku from Samurai Jack.
I mean, that's totally a whole different other aspect of part of my childhood. I'm not ready to touch on because that shit still hurts. But the Dexter's Laboratory, I completely forgot how that he was involved with the end credits when they're going through the housing and the doors. And you get a little bit of narration of behind the door and this and that, and behind imagination, and then it goes into Dexter's Laboratory.
Yeah, I didn't know that was him. So wait, are you talking about because there was singing? No, I know. There was 2 different actors to play Hir-O though, because obviously the original dude passed away. Yeah. So the Japanese guy I know he did Aku, but he did the narration for Dexter's Lab too?
He did the narration of just that credits, of the ending credits.
Okay.
I can send you the link a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I know what you're talking about, but that's cool. I didn't know that.
When you hear it, you'll definitely remember.
Okay, cool.
Because it took me back. Oh my God.
Dexter is still probably, I would say now I have to kind of sit down and think about it. But now that I've got Avatar fully under my belt, I still think Steven Universe for me is out in front a little bit, but between Dexter and Avatar in terms of top 1, 2, and 3 is hard to. It's a really, really tough battle right there.
Some good shows, man. Hir-O, man. Let's get that top 5 favorite Avatar: The Last Airbender characters
of all time.
What you got there for me, sir?
Here, you
got a tough list to follow.
My bad. What did you say?
I said you got a tough list to follow. Edmund's.
Yeah, mine. I already know mine is not going to be as good.
Fantastic.
I'll just. Wow, that is him.
Oh, he went back.
Wow.
I put it in the chat for you.
Yeah, bro. So I thought that was a narration I knew the narration you were talking about, but I had no idea that was him. But it very obviously is. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Shout out to Hir-O. So speaking of which, to start the top 5, I'm going to start with 2 honorable mentions. One of them is Hir-O, for all of the same reasons, man. I just love the fact that he was, like you said, the fact that he was a high-ranking member of the White Lotus Society, it leads me to believe that he was almost sure, my nation is Fire Nation, but I am for the good of the nation. I am for the good of the world, right? That was very clearly their motivation. And I really appreciate it. And obviously, his connection with Zuko was really, really, really one of the it reminded me of the relationship between, this is really a nerdy deep cut here, of one of my favorite shows ever. It reminds me of the relationship between Captain Benjamin Sisko and his son Jake Sisko, and how that was one of the best and most wholesome parts of Deep Space Nine. But you know, it's Iroh's relationship with Zuko, and how it was very much a father-son relationship, and they were both filling voids from one another, right? Like Zuko was using Iroh, well, I shouldn't say using, but he ended up stepping in. Iroh stepped in the role of the father figure because, you know, obviously the Fire Lord wasn't really there. Ozai really wasn't there for him. And, you know, likewise with Iroh's son having passed, you know, Zuko was there for him to kind of extend that love to, which I thought was really, really cool. I hadn't even thought about that till just now, but I think that was very much on purpose. So then jumping into, I had one more top five, or one more honorable mention, who that I can't remember, but I think off the top of my head, I'm gonna go with I know, you know, well, I'll save that one because I know he's gonna be in your list. So I'll let you handle it. So jumping right into the top five, starting at number 5, I'm gonna go with Katara, who is, as far as I can tell, the greatest waterbender that we've ever seen. Tearbender. Just super, super dope. It's just like, you know, a virtuoso almost, because she really didn't have a whole lot of training. Like, as soon as she got a little bit of training, she instantly became like, you know, a top tier elite level waterbender off, like, I mean, right, like on some Luke Skywalker training with Yoda for 24 hours and becoming and holding his own against Darth Vader. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Katara has some of the most impressive bending moments in the show. For
sure, man. And I just, the way watching her
Southern Raiders
water bend
when she freezes the raindrops.
Yeah, man. Well, here we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But so when I watch Katara bend, that's what it made me think. Like, I kind of feel like waterbending is waterbending and earthbending to me are broken as fuck, bro. Like you know, like if you're in the water as a waterbender, you are invincible. There's no way to and also the fact that you can extend that into bloodbending, and that there's like moisture in almost everything. Like you become Iceman, you become Bobby Drake, who is an Omega level mutant. You know what I'm saying?
She fights Hama, the bloodbending. She was like just busting the trees, pulling the water out of the trees, bro. Like,
yeah.
Oh, you want to keep us into a cage made out of wood? Okay, I'll just sweat some water out.
Right.
Yeah, I got this. I'll figure it out.
Katara, you're a sweaty, stinky genius.
Right. So just seeing her really just max out waterbending, it just made it seem like, bro, this shit is like way more powerful than, at least so far what I've seen, it seems to be the most powerful water or bending style, right? And earth bending a really close second, just because like earth is literally everywhere. So anyways, gonna go with Katara number 5. Number 4, he's already gotten some love, and I'm gonna try to keep my answer short here because I know we got an extra person, and I know y'all really love. I want to give y'all a chance to really nerd out. So I'm gonna go with Sokka at number 4. Just being,
let's go. Sokka getting some love in the
yeah, I mean, you know, he's hilarious. He is
Boomerang.
Right. I love the subtle genius, man. Like the idiot savant. That's one of my favorite like character types. You know what I'm saying? One of my favorite archetypes in fiction. The guy who is unassuming but like is actually a genius. And then by the end of the series, like he was getting respect. Like, come on, so like they were flat out looking to him to come up with a plan.
Underrated part about Sokka that I love so much is in the finale, and the ships crashing each other, and his first thing is he just jumps and covers Toph.
Yeah,
he's such a hero, man.
So here, if I'm gonna ask a question, and if I end up spoiling myself, just don't say anything. Just let me figure it out. Mm-hmm. But if I'm wrong, then tell me I'm wrong.
Sure.
Is the chief from Korra, is Sokka her father? Yeah.
No, he's not. But there is. He's not her father. I read the books, and in the books, there's a guy who Toph meets who is probably Lin's father.
Okay.
Su Yin, you haven't seen Su Yin yet, so but Su Yin is another. Toph has two daughters with two different guys, and a lot of the most popular fan theory is that Sokka is the father of her other daughter.
Word. Okay, well, we'll see what happens.
Fingers crossed.
All right.
I'd like that.
That would be amazing. I love Suki, but that would be amazing.
So number 3, and he could even be higher because I love a good angsty fucking anti-hero. God damn it! I love a Kylo Ren arc, motherfucker. So I gotta go with Zuko at number 3. For a lot of different reasons. One of those reasons is that one of my favorite childhood characters ever, Rufio, the voice actor, obviously. What's my
Bangarang Peter?
Right.
Monto.
God damn it. Little crew pack of pre-chewed food, dude.
You man.
Right.
Stupid man.
Stupid man.
Immortal suck navel.
Right, God damn it.
Rufio, why don't you go stuck on a dead dog's nose?
Oh my God.
Bro, what episode was that when we were playing those insults on you?
Oh, it was early, but that was great. Fantastic. But yeah, I'm really a big fan of his, and he was the perfect voice for that. I just love how he would go from 0 to 100, just immediately just start yelling and screaming at people. I don't need any coffee tea. Just forget it. Okay, fine, just forget it. Yeah, damn, Zuko, chill. But I loved his. Obviously, we've already talked about him having one of the best redemption arcs in all of fiction, and he does
ever. Possibly.
He does. He's really. I loved his okay, we'll talk more about this as well. But I love how far he was willing to go to since we kind of already talked about it. One of my favorite episodes is the Southern Raiders, where he was like, "Look, Katara, look, bro, all these niggas is scared, but I know who fucking killed your pops or who killed your mom, and let's go get that nigga right now." You know what I'm saying? I fuck with that shit heavy. I really love that.
It's right out.
You're right.
Right. Fuck what these niggas talking about. I'm ready to go. Them niggas talking about fucking revenge and it ain't gonna sit well with you. Hey, I got the car running right now. Let's get it popping. I love that. And then just to cover the top 2 here really quickly. Number 2, this is Avatar was a rare cartoon where a rare shonen style cartoon, even though it's not an anime, where I really love the main character. So I got to go with Aang, number 2. Airbending virtuoso, just really fun loving, free spirit. Showed by the way, this is super random. The other honorable mention that I was actually going to give, I don't know why it just came to me just now, was actually Azula. I hated Azula for the first. Well, she was at the very last episode of season 1 or book 1. All through. I didn't like her at all in book 2, but I loved her unraveling in book 3. I thought that was so good, man. It was only until that moment that I started liking her at that point, because I just loved she just couldn't. She was fucking crazy, bro. She couldn't trust nobody. She just let all of that go to her head.
And I love that, because so many people were like, when the show was out, everybody loved Azula, and they were giving her a pass. People thought Azula was going to have a face turn, which was
what? Why would you think that? There was nothing to suggest that. There was literally nothing to suggest that, bro.
She's an absolute maniac,
right? And that's the reason why I didn't like her. She was like you said, that she was a fucking cackling mad woman for almost her entire arc. It wasn't until the last 2 or 3 episodes where she started to break a little bit, and it became clear that she was human. But all of her thirst for power and her the way that she had been raised to be just this cutthroat killer really tore her apart. And I thought that. And not in a face turn way, but like a mental breakdown way, and I thought that was really dope. But anyways, this is supposed to be about Aang. Aang is amazing. I loved his spirit, man. He was just a really
I'll be right back. Go ahead. Keep talking.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I just think he was the kind of guy that, the kind of little kid that if you're a little kid, you would want to be his best friend. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, yeah. And that was definitely one of the big appeals about him.
Yeah, he was just, you just want to hang out with Aang. Like, hey, man, let's fucking goddamn hang out with some penguins or something or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Let's go ride Appa for a while. Like, let's just have some fun. So, yeah. And then number one, and this kind of mirrors your number two, but also your number one, kind of. Got to go with Toph, man. She is, I think, the best bender in the show. She's like 9, dog, and she's, you know what I'm saying? She's like 9, and she's literally like moving mountains and discovered and created metal bending by herself as a fucking child. Mm-hmm. I think she's the most talented bender. I think, Nav, you said the same thing. She's the most talented bender that we've ever seen. With maybe Aang and like Aang, Katara, Soft. Well, if you had to rank them, if I had to rank them, I would probably go Toph, Aang, Katara in terms of, and then Zuko maybe a couple of rows down if we're not counting Azula. And I will even give, by the end when Zuko kind of had that clarity of mind and Azula started to break down some, it seemed pretty clear that Zuko was stronger than her at that point.
Well, you got to remember a lot of Zuko's deficiencies were in his head.
Right. Mm-hmm. And once he cleared that shit up, he seemed to be at least on par with Azula. Yeah. But anyways, I feel like Toph was the most powerful bender that we've seen.
Toph's her. I think she's the best bender in the show.
Yeah, especially like relative to her age. I mean, imagine her as an adult; she would have been a fucking force of nature. Yeah. So yeah, man, that's right.
Yeah,
that's my top 5. I go with Katara, Sokka, Zuko, Aang, and Toph. Boom.
That's what's up, man. I love it. I'm so happy we're talking about Avatar. I'm not gonna lie. Fire list, once again, I'm gonna get into mine real quick. My top 5 favorite Avatar Last Airbender characters, real quick. Got a couple honorable mentions. My first honorable mention, and I really hate that he is not on my list, but he just barely misses it. Sokka is my first honorable mention. Love Sokka. Hilarious. He's a genius. He is a master strategist. So many things in this show would not have happened if it weren't for Sokka. My man risks his life in Wan Shi Tong's library to go back and figure out the date of the eclipse. Like, he's a genius, man. Like, he had the blueprint, even though it was terrible, for the submarines for the invasion. Like, he is a absolute genius, man. Just such a great character and absolutely hilarious. Love Sokka. And my other honorable mention, man, even though this character was kind of a jerk at first, I love Master Pakku, man. I love Master Pakku. He's a little jerk, kind of a jerk in the beginning, but he came around, in the end. And my man was fooling in the invasion when the Fire Nation came to the Northern Water Tribe. He was out there doing work.
Yeah, he was.
So shout out to Master Pakku. Getting into this top 5, man. My number 5 favorite character from Avatar, The Last Airbender, is going to be Toph, man. Toph, in my opinion, best bender in the show, pound for pound, most talented, just amazing. She's got some of the coolest moments in general, man, with the things that she does with her bending. A really dope moment that I really love is, and it's a kind of a slept on one, right? When they are storming the Earth King's palace to try to get to him after they finally beat Long Feng. And Sokka with the classic joke, looks like Long Feng is long gone. But when they storm the Earth Kingdom's palace, that Toph is the MVP of that scene. She does this thing. Yeah, man, that's exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Right, they're beating all these guards, and Toph is just waving this like earth pallet and for a shield back and forth.
Yeah.
It's a crazy scene, bro. It's super dope.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, man.
No, it's just and like the fact that you got this full-blown secret military police.
Bruh.
And yes, she can take them all on. Like, y'all got nothing to do with me. Like, what do you...
Diley tried to shoot them little handcuffs at her. She just broke them.
Right, get that shit the fuck out of here.
Get that out of here, man.
Get down.
Tough, man. What an awesome character. Number 4, I'm going with Uncle Iroh, man. The master, the true master, Dragon of the West. The philosophy, the knowledge, the unconditional love for his jerk nephew. And also, man, one of the Tales of Boxing say, I love the scene where the dude tries to mug him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right.
What are you doing? And he's like, I'm mugging you. He's like, not with a stance like that. Fixes my bitch. It makes him completely rethink his entire life.
Right.
That could really be a great masseuse.
And I'm always here for the old master. Like, those are always my favorite characters in shows like these. I'm always here for the old master. Iroh was the man, and I really love that he was always good the entire time. His link, his wokeness. You know what I'm saying? I love how he was able to see Avatar Roku's spirit dragon in the episode.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He was the only person that can see it because he just woke, man. He's been to the spirit world. Love Iroh. Such a great character, bro.
Plus his fight scene in that episode too.
So he's got some of the best fight scenes in the show, man. Like
I could whoop your ass in a slave Leia outfit.
Bro.
You got nothing.
They had him in the slave Leia joint, and he was still out there going crazy. I love Iroh, man. What a good character. Coming in at number 3. Oh man, I gotta bring this up too. When the White Lotus invades Ba Sing Se and he's breathing in that fire, bro, just
love it.
Crazy. What a good character, man. Number 3.
He also invented lightning bending, didn't he?
He did, yeah. He did say he did.
He invented redirecting.
Oh. Okay.
He invented redirecting it. But yeah, just amazing character. Number 3, I'm going with Prince Zuko, man. Like we said, we already talked about it. Probably the greatest character redemption arc ever, man. Zuko was really annoying me in book 1, but by book 2, he was one of my favorite characters instantly. As soon as he, you know what I'm saying? And also, man, master swordsman, right? I love Zuko with the dual swords. You know what I'm saying? I love the 2 swords, and he was just a real martial artist, man. And that's what made him such a good bender. So Zuko, man, and when he joins, when he finally does join the team, he is at the forefront of some of the best moments in the show. I love the firebending masters, where him and Aang go learn from the dancing dragon, and he's got so many good moments in that show. Southern Raiders. I love how everybody goes on a life-changing trip with Zuko, man. Yeah. When he's kind of trying to prove his worth to the team. Just amazing character. And like I said, man, best character redemption arc ever, man. My number 2, I'm going with Aang. Aang is without a doubt my favorite main character ever. I'm almost never it's very rare that the main character from a shonen style show is my favorite, and Aang is really good character, man. He's got a really good arc too. You know what I'm saying? We always talk about Zuko's character redemption arc, but Aang's is very good as well. Just the way that he matured and stuck to his guns, man. You know what I'm saying? Being told that there's only one way to do something and still doing it your way is story of my life. You know what I mean? And Aang,
mine too.
And Aang is definitely he didn't fold, man. He stuck to his ways and his philosophy, and he found a way when everybody told him he couldn't. So I love that about Aang, man. And also just a dope character, man. Really good bender too. My number 1. It's time to shock the world, man. My number 1 favorite character is Master Piandao. I love the swordsman, right? I'm a very huge fan of Chinese swordsmanship, and Master Piandao is one of the characters from, you know, my younger days where I was super interested in learning some Chinese swordsmanship. And it was really dope when he came into the show, because he was only, you know what I'm saying, before him, it was Hir-O. He was the only Fire Nation guy who seemed to not be completely evil. And then we ran into Zhang, right? And even though Zhang, he wasn't evil, but he was still kind of a dirtbag, right? He was still kind of mean. He didn't want to teach Aang, and Roku kind of had to scare him into teaching him. Even though Aang wasn't ready, he was a little immature at the time. But then we get Master Piandao, and he's like that Fire Nation guy where we're like, okay, you know what I mean? There's some good out there, you know what I mean? And then if you pay attention, he's White Lotus everything. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And he was just an amazing character, amazing teacher. I loved how he decided to teach Sokka because he wasn't, he had no training. You know what I'm saying? He was kind of an idiot, and and I love that he trained him. And just, man, I can't say enough about Master Piandao. And come on, man, a swordsman in a world of magical earth manipulating superheroes, and he's just got my sword. You know what I'm saying? Sword. Out here.
Like what you expect from the T-1000, though?
Come on, man.
Robert Patrick.
Out here being mad effective on the battlefield. So that's my Master Piandao is my favorite character in the show, man. And that's my top 5, man. Number 5, Toph. Number 4, Uncle Hir-O. 3, Zuko. Number 2, Avatar Aang. Number 1, Master Piandao. So yeah, man, that's that. Let's move on. Let's keep it moving real quick. Hir-O.
Boom.
Take your 2 favorite martial artists. What bending style do you think they would be?
All right, so the easy one is Bruce Lee water style, but I'm gonna skip that. It's too easy. I'm gonna go with. Oh shit! I'm gonna go with.
Bro, hold on. First of all, Bruce would be the Avatar.
Of course, yeah, no doubt. He's the Avatar. He's the Avatar, but he's from the Water Tribe.
He's a Water Tribe. Okay, I'm here for that.
So I'm gonna go with Tony Jaa as an Earthbender. Woo! That'd be disgusting.
100%. There's no.
Yeah, there's nothing else.
Might be the best. That might be the best.
The perfect fit, bro.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna go. Let me see. I'm gonna go Jackie Chan as an Uncle Iroh style drunken master firebender.
Wow, I love it.
Let's go.
I love it. Drinking wine and just spitting fireballs.
Yeah.
If it was drinking gasoline in the Drunken Master movie. Edmund, give me 2 of yours, man.
I'm just still stuck on Jackie Chan because now I'm realizing he is at that age where he could be cast in that role and pull it off perfectly.
Actually, perfectly casted. That would be amazing.
Oh, damn.
Incredible.
See, next time y'all have an Avatar conversation, y'all need to talk fan casting too.
Yeah. Sure.
So I did have Tony Jaa, but that's already been covered. It was obviously Earth. So my backups were Mr. Ray himself, Aiko.
Hey.
I was gonna guess. I'm gonna say probably Fire. I can see him pull it off pretty well.
Yeah, no doubt.
And then I'm also going with. I forgot who had on the list. I think Omari, you had her. Michelle. Yeah.
Michelle, yo.
Yeah.
Water. I'm thinking I'm gonna go with Water for her.
I love it, man.
I can definitely see that.
I'm gonna take Zhang Ziyi, and she is gonna be Waterbender, and similar to Michelle. And then I'm gonna go with Donnie Yen, and I'm gonna say Firebender for Donnie Yen, man. I think Donnie Yen would be a little bit of a firebender. I love the athleticism and the.
I'm imagining that shit like a ball of fire,
straight up fireballs, machine gun fireballs.
There is nothing left of the corpse. Thank you, Donnie.
Right, it's done.
So this might be harder than the other one. let's get into our top 5 favorite episodes real quick. Edmund, it's on you, the guest. What you got, man?
Look, given how short time frame, I was very stressed over this.
This is harder than the character one, for sure.
For sure. Up, did we lose you?
He's frozen. Edmund, you frozen.
I'm going to text him right quick.
No. He's froze. Yo.
A little, right. No, you're good.
Okay, word. Edmund, you froze, man. Yo, he's...
Okay, so he said his laptop crashed. Not a big deal. So we'll get him back on. I'm just gonna send him a text.
All right.
And I will. I'll do mine. Yeah.
You lead off with your top 5 favorite Avatar episodes.
Boom.
We'll get Edmund back in here.
All right. So number 5. No honorable mentions this time. Number 5, man. So this is where I had to kind of take that rule of, are we doing the full episodes or are we doing like the multi-part? So I was actually able to kind of break it down. I'm going to go, well, for this one, I was able to break it down, but for this one, I'm going to go with, for number 5, I'm going to go with the series finale, Sozin's Comet Part 4, Avatar Aang.
Avatar Aang.
I mean, it's just an amazing season finale. I mean, you get to see really the culmination of Aang's training. You get to see him really. I mean, he unlocks the Avatar state. The only thing I have a slight gripe about it, that it was just they sort of he sort of tripped and fell into the Avatar. He literally tripped and fell into the Avatar state. Like he literally tripped over a rock and punctured his back and knocked him back into place.
No, I don't know, man. I feel like Aang. You gotta understand that Aang is the purest spirit ever. In Avatar. So I would say that he was reaping the benefits of his pure spirit and getting the help from his past lives. You know what I'm saying? Also, the injury, right? That wound, he died.
No, I know.
Yeah,
so I thought it was fine that last chakra was blocked off. I thought that was perfect, and because he would have solved the problem. He would have ended the series in 2 episodes.
Right.
I just wish that it would have worked better for the overcoming obstacles theme of the show if he had a mental moment of awakening where he was able to unlock that last chakra on his own, as opposed to it literally being knocked into place because he accidentally fell and hit his back on a rock. You know what I'm saying? Minor nitpick aside, the rest of that episode was, just the pacing was amazing. The fights, the last final fight was just incredible. And then, of course, man, you already know how I feel about it, bro. This nigga overstood. This nigga he opened up the third eye of Ozai.
Overstood Fire Lord.
He overstood him. And then from there, it was all good. So yeah, I love the season finale. It looks like we got Edmund back. So I jumped in front of you. I'm gonna go real quick and do my top 5, and I'm gonna make mine quick because I know you guys are really gonna nerd out over yours. My number 5 was the series finale, the Sojin Comet Part 4, Avatar Aang. Just a great final battle. We already talked off air about my minor gripe about how he kind of fell into the rock and popped the Avatar button back on, and which again, my only gripe is that I would have appreciated more if he was able to do it on his own and just kind of all right, I need this in this moment and I'm able to center myself and open up that chakra on his own. But then Nav made a great point about him being a beneficiary of his pure spirit, and the help from his past lives sort of willed that to happen. So it happened the way it was supposed to. So I buy that. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, man, and you know, you gotta look at it like that, because even the lion turtle tells him when he gives him the ability to bend the spirit, the energy of his opponent. It only works if your spirit is 100% pure. You know what I mean? So Aang is essentially the only avatar ever who could have pulled that off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let's go, Aang.
Boom! Shout out to Aang. He really earned his paycheck as the lead character with that episode. And then for number 4, we already kind of talked a little bit about this. I'm gonna go with the Southern Raiders, where Katara and Zuko take their revenge trip.
Real quick, who do you think provided the ninja outfits? Zuko? You think Zuko provided them, or do you think, I don't know, man? Katara kind of sneaky, bro. She was out here on the painted lady tip.
That's true. I just feel like Zuko still was a prince, so he had resources. I don't know. What do you think, Edmund?
He left over from Blue Spirit, so it makes sense that he probably had at least one. Yeah, him having the backup is why I'm not sure, but
yeah, it's hard.
Katara souls, so maybe she made her own.
So yeah, the Southern Raiders. I mean, just the revenge tour, and Zuko said, "Fuck it, bro. These niggas soft. Like, I feel you. So let's go get this nigga right now." I'm totally with it.
Bro, when she blood bends that dude Zuko's face, is just like,
he was like, "Oh hell, what the fuck?" That shit.
Yo,
he was like, "What the fuck is that?"
Not gonna be able to do it.
Boom. So yeah, number 3. This is where I had to make a decision here. It was either going to be Zuko alone or Puppet Masters, and I'm going to go with Puppet Masters. Just because I think I'm just so into the omnipotence of water bending, where it's just kind of like, dog, you can blood bend. Like, you can't stop these water benders, bro. Like, they're so overpowered.
That fight is short, but it's amazing between her and Hama.
Yeah, that was a great one.
So.
That was a great one. Also, honorable mention, the one where Toph is basically Aang is a wrestler, and when you first meet Toph, and you got they were like cutting promos against each other and everything.
Blonde Bandit.
Boulder. I love that. Speaking of Boulder,
supposed to be the Rock.
I think Mick Foley actually
was supposed to be the Rock.
I think Mick Foley actually did his voice. Yeah.
That's hilarious, but I didn't even think about that. But like, he referred to himself in third person too. That's hilarious.
By a landslide.
That's amazing.
It was supposed to be the Rock. I hope they do that live action episode. They can pull it off.
That's hilarious. All right, man. So speaking of rocks, I gotta go with this one. I'm gonna have to combine together. I gotta combine them together. I gotta go with Boiling Rock. But I gotta go with both parts. I mean, because it's one story. That's number 2. Fantastic, and also shout out to Suki being like a low-key MVP of that shit. Like,
she's MVP of Boiling Rock, bro.
Yoshi Waters.
Yep.
Got hands, man.
And you got to see some more Sokka brains at work. And that episode has some really funny parts as well. And also, like, you get the moment between Sokka and his pops. And, you got to see Zuko, like, the extent of his, like I said, the extent that he was willing to go to really, like, prove himself and vindicate, some of the past failings of his friends, or not even failings, but just the things that they felt slighted about in the past. He was willing to help vindicate them in a way that was really, really dope. So shout out to Boiling Rock for that. And then number 1, dog, this is my favorite episode. Immediately, I was like, yo, this, just because of the spiritualness and just my personality, I just thought it was amazing. The Fire Bending Masters. That's just my favorite episode.
I love it.
And it really is. I mean, the whole episode is dope with the Sun Warriors, but like,
there's so many good episodes of this show, man.
Yeah, it really just boils down to the scene at the end where, like, Again, Doug.
The rainbow fire.
And Zuko was just like, yo, I get it, bro. Like, I understand. I overstand. You know what I'm saying? Right, hold on. I got to bring it back, Doug. I got to bring it back, bro.
You got to overcome awoken.
I overstand, bro. You understand? It was instant. Like, in that moment, he just instantly, like, holy shit, I get firebending. And it was just beautiful. It was just it was a transference of energy, transference of knowledge. Just really, really dope, man. So that's my number one. The music, yo, that's if you want to talk about a potential Avatar sample, that's the one right there. Yeah, that's my top. That's my favorite episode, man. The Firebending Masters and the awakening of the awokening, goddammit, of Prince Zuko. So, all right, man, Edmund, you're up.
What you got, Edmund?
All right, honorable mentions. Obviously, Tales of Ba Sing Se, because I'm a sucker to make myself cry all the time. It's why I still watch The Iron Giant as often as I do.
Why would you do that to yourself?
You are who you choose to be, okay? That's why. Super, man. Goddamn, why'd I do that?
That's such a great movie.
Tales of Ba Sing Se. It seems like, again, I'm not, obviously, as discussed, I am not anime experienced like you guys, but that seems like possibly, and correct me if I'm wrong, the quintessential filler episode. Yeah, and yet it is totally still like required watching.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like that about you gotta watch it, absolutely.
See, and then that one just because like the makeup, god damn, Uncle Iroh's little event.
Yeah, that one sucks, man.
Yeah, man.
God,
it's very, very emotionally taxing episode, man.
Very, but it's still like it's hard to pass it up. I can't never bring myself to skip over it. I have to at least watch that part.
Same.
Honorable mention: Avatar and the Fire Lord. I love the backstory they set up for that one. And establishing Zuko, spoiler alert, has Avatar blood in him, basically. And I love the another fan theory I came across, in that it's considered a possibility that the Fire Lord royalty bloodline is actually full of inbred relationships, and that's another reason as to why Zuko and Azula are almost anomalies, especially why Azula's nuts, definitely, but why Zuko is also an anomaly of just like I have to do something differently compared to everybody else.
Yeah, Targaryens.
Yep, which also makes sense as to why Azula broke down mentally. And yeah, just that backstory. You get Ron Perlman. I love voice actors, so you get Ron Perlman finally making his appearance into the show.
Who was he?
Sozin.
He was Sozin. So he narrates. He does the narration a little bit as well. And
you gone, suddenly all of my plans are possible.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Avatar and Fire Lord.
Wait, hold on. Let me ask you guys. Since you guys are experts here, I never really fully understood the Sozin heel turn. Like it. To me, the way I understood it was that here the Fire Nation is really thriving. We should spread it to everybody else, and if them niggas don't listen, we'll make them. Is that basically what it boils down to?
Yeah, that's the whole concept of conquest always.
Right. So he's a colonizer, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Understood. Okay. I mean,
he was
right. I mean, it shows super Asian, so I figured that, they would give him more credit than that, but I guess not, so.
Okay, would Japan work for you?
Same thing with Japan and China.
Yeah, no, they were definitely, but wait a second, though. See, my dad, shout out to my dad, man. We talked about this shit. The reason why the Japanese were imperialists is because they were trying to appeal to the Europeans.
Exactly.
100%.
Absolutely.
Fair enough, yeah.
Anyways, my bad. Go ahead.
Oh no, you good. And then my last honorable mention, because last minute, I had to look through all the episodes and just write down as many as possible. Of course, I didn't get as many as Nam, but my last honorable mention, Day of the Black Sun. I know it's a two-parter, but I love that that's finally part one. Zuko's realizing like, yo, I got to make a change, and then part two, like, yo, here I got to take the stand. I know it's not my destiny.
Yeah, bro. Telling the truth during an eclipse. This shit.
Right.
Like, I know it's not my destiny to take you on, but I gotta go do it.
I'm gonna let Aang kill you.
And even out in later episodes, he's just like, yo, you gotta kill my dad. It's fine.
Right, what you doing?
Fuck it up. Like, I got no problems with this. Like, it's perfectly okay. Like, we gotta do what you gotta do. I lost my mom. It's fine. That's the one I cared about. Go ahead.
That defiant breath will be your last.
And then again, shout out to Mark Hamill, always doing the great villain voices. But yeah, just that build up to him finally standing up and doing what he's got to do, and going on a run. All right, so now once again, I'm hoping I can get this one right because I just had to write shit down and then put numbers next to it. So, and then I've been making changes throughout the show. So number five, I think I settled on. I'm gonna go with Zuko alone. Because again, you get to see sword skill. I love a later episode when he and Jet go at it in the tea shop. It's probably a better sword fight,
bruh. But Zuko just casually pulls the swords off the guard in that episode. He's like, "I'll give you a fight."
And how he's balancing on the table after Jet just chopped it in like 4 different pieces.
Come on,
like, what you gonna do? And then even at the end, he's just like, "Yeah, I'm here defending."
I love it.
He's obviously the issue. We're not firebenders. But yeah, just that lone warrior on the road story that they decided to put in for that episode. And finally doing a justifiable reason to show, all right, we're not the greatest as we keep proclaiming to be. Fire Nation has its issues, and obviously other nations do not like what we keep doing to them.
Right.
And I think that show does it very well. Like, even after they save them, cliche would be, oh yeah, you saved us even though you're a Fire Nation. It's cool. No, fuck out of here.
You saved us, but we hate you because
you're just as bad as them. Plus, you're the prince. Right. Fuck out of here. Like,
right.
Who calls this shit? Number 4, Sokka's Master. Because it's like, look, he finally gets his chance to really step up, and not only does he become a sword master, becomes a great martial artist because of the Kyoshi Warriors as well. He got that experience underneath his belt.
Real quick, right? This is a dope thing about Sokka. Sokka is constantly learning from the people he had biases against throughout the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sokka was a little sexist, man. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
And he learns martial arts from the Kyoshi Warriors. You know, he learns martial arts from the Kyoshi Warriors. Then he hated the Fire Nation. He thought all the Fire Nation people were dirtbags. And then he learns swordsmanship from a Fire Nation, resident. So I thought that was another really dope thing about Sokka's character.
Yeah, great episode. It's fun, and I love Dao's like constant commentary during the fight. Like, oh, great, I love that.
Positive reinforcement.
In the using your positive agility against an older opponent. Good, adapting. Yes,
I love it, man. Yeah.
And again, shout out to Robert Patrick, because I love Terminator 2 and T-1000 every day. Number 3, Firebending Masters. Again, dope music, dope learning, great bonding material between the two of them. To set up them actually becoming friends. Because I love that being a nice a nice building up point from where they were in Blue Spirit, where Aang is like wondering, like, in a different lifetime could we have been friends, and then now they're getting to this point of just this great relationship between the two of them. And then number 2 probably could have also been, in fact, no, last minute switch. I'm switching them out. Number 2 now is going to be the 4-parter, Sozin's Comment, just because that shit's beautiful. Zula, Zuko fight. I love just watching that back and forth, how the music starts hitting. It lets you know this is an epic moment. Lets you know all of these different powers that they both have, and yet Zuko's able to keep up with her. And the only reason you get the better of them is because I brought, Katara along, and you went after her, but yet I can still go ahead and take care of it and help her out, save her, and let her do what she's got to do, because she can whoop your ass just as bad.
No lightning today? What's the matter? Afraid I'll redirect it?
And that's another reason I love Day of Black Sun. With that being the first time he did the redirect at his father to send a message. Like, I could have killed you myself, but it's not what I'm supposed to be doing.
Exactly.
But yeah, and number 1 now, Waterbending Master. That's Paku. Just because, like I said, of how awesome Katara is, that one moment in their fight scene towards the end where she gets knocked into the water, she makes it rise up into that column. Like right after that, she's in the water, she makes that column up, and then she's like starts sliding those the disc at him, and then it's just that one where he's just like, oh,
she is a good water.
Okay. We might need to reconsider this right now. Just that nice pause moment of
That's such a good episode, man.
So yeah. Zuko alone, Sokka's Master, Firebending Masters, Last Minute Switch, and let me try not to mess it up. Sozin's Comment, and then number 1, Waterbending Masters.
These, there's so many good episodes of this show, man.
This is 24 episode choice.
Yep. All right. So I'm gonna make an attempt here. So I got a couple honorable mentions, just real quick. Nothing, not gonna take too long on them. My first honorable mention, definitely Southern Raiders. I love that episode. It starts off so good when Aang is sleeping, he just wakes up and there's just like a bomb coming towards him, and he knocks it out. And then there's Zuko and Azula have a dope little fight in that episode too, when he wakes up and he's like, I think this is a family visit. You know what I'm saying? And he goes and fights Azula so they can get away. That was really dope. Southern Raiders is a really good episode.
About that one.
Another honorable mention, man, I would have to say is going to be The Eclipse, man. I love the Eclipse episode, Day of Black Sun. Really, honestly, both of them are so good, but I really like the second one. That's where Zuko confronts his dad. You know what I'm saying? And that's where he redirects lightning at Ozai and makes his choice to change sides, man. So that's another episode I really love. All right, man, let's go. Let's go.
Show me your moves.
Show me your moves. Number 5, I'm going Siege of the North Part 2, man. That's book 1 and finale, and that's when the show really just gets like it hits like this point where similar to how The Storm was, and this was where the stakes are extremely high, and it just hits a point where you know that you're not watching a show that's like just for kids. You know what I mean?
Not at all.
Man, you got Master Paku going crazy on the Fire Nation tanks. You got Aang going to the spirit world and facing Ko, the face stealer, so he can find out who the moon who the moons and the water spirits are in the physical world. You know, that was amazing. Then you got Zhao's evil killing the moon spirit, Yue giving her life to save the moon spirit. That episode is just heavy. And when Aang gets possessed by the ocean spirit, yo, crazy. That episode is amazing. And when Zhao kills the moon spirit and everything just goes black and white, it's just heavy, man. That's the best way I can describe it. It's just a heavy, real heavy episode, man. But yeah, so that's my number 5. Coming in at number 4, I am gonna go with Zuko Alone.
Hey,
I really love Zuko Alone, man. It's an amazing episode. Like you said, the Lone Warrior thing, Zuko with swords fighting the Earthbenders, And I mean, even though this episode was super important because it showed him how the rest of the world views the Fire Nation, it also, made him accept who he was, and that was kind of the start of him realizing that he was on the wrong side of things. So that's my number 4 is going with Zuko alone. Also, man, Hir-O, when you get further in Korra, there's an episode called Korra Alone. And it's really, really dope, man. It's really good. So yeah, man, that's my number 4. My number 3, I'm going with Blue Spirit. The first, I think that this episode is the moment where Zuko really realized that he and Aang were supposed to be friends. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And I mean, the Blue Spirit is just dope, bro. And then you had the Fire Nation Archers. That's a really good episode, man. It's hilarious too because Sokka and Katara are sick, and Aang go get the frogs for them to suck on. But
it's just tasty,
right? Zuko as the Blue Spirit is just one of the dopest parts of that whole show. So I really love that episode, man. Number 2, I'm gonna go with Sozin's comment, but I'm gonna go with Into the Inferno. Into the Inferno is the one right before the last one. So this episode is amazing, bro. You get the White Lotus invasion of Ba Sing Se. You get Zuko and Azula's fight starting off. You get Aang, bro. I love the part where the Lion Turtle just tells him, like, wait for him, he'll come.
Yeah, that was fire.
Aang is just standing on the rock, just waiting for him to show up. And
that's
then
super fire.
When his ship comes, he just starts kicking the boulders at him, and they back his shit down. Come on, man. That episode is amazing. And then Aang just tells Momo, like, all right, man, you got to go. It's about to get real. Right. Go ahead, man. And then Aang and then Fire Lord Ozai, man.
And it's like such good storytelling.
100 years.
And it's like that one fight is just so much good storytelling without dialogue. Like, Aang's whole journey is, I need to learn all 4 of these elements. Right off the bat, he's like, I can use all 4 of them. We got you.
Come on, bro.
Let me do this. Let me show how far I've come.
Bro, there's so many just amazing moments.
Not even like, oh wait, we've had 3 seasons of hearing about this Fire Lord. Like, what's he really about? And all of a sudden, he's just blasting out of one fist, wiping out all of this.
And then he hits the fucking Johnny Storm jetpack out of his feet.
Yeah, man.
And then I can gush about that one. Like, and then when he's whooping on Aang a little bit, he's hiding up in the boulder, and it's like they spend this whole time
throws that fireball.
Where it's like they spend all this time where it's like, yo, you got to do all these elaborate things in order to get fired. And he's just like,
right, bro. Just throws that fireball at him.
Amazing. And then Aang's awakening, where he just grabs the beard, knocks his arm off, like,
Fire Lord Ozai, you and your forefathers. He had that, boy. Come on, man. But my number 1, man, my favorite episode in Avatar, The Last Airbender, is Sokka's Master. My favorite episode, Master Piandao, my favorite character. Look, man, I don't know if people realize that Sokka's a master swordsman, bro. Let's go. When they in the eclipse, he's swiftly using that space sword in the eclipse episode, man. There's a part where there's a spear coming at him, and he just cuts it down the middle, and then he jumps on the guys. Come on, man. Mm-hmm. Man, I should have had Sokka in my top 5, man. What am I doing? I love Sokka, bro. I do. I might have to make a change. I'll be making changes down
man.
Bottom on the show. Stay tuned to the Instagram post. I might make a change and put Sokka in there. But yeah, man, that's my top 5 favorite episodes. I'm so glad we finally talked about this show. There's so many good episodes. Real quick, which moment in the show got you the most emotionally?
I mean, shit. What outside of Tales of Ba Sing Se, I would say it was I would probably say it was Firebending Masters when Zuko finally found some peace and some understanding of like where he found his new passion, because before his firebending was coming straight from just his anger and passion. Yeah, and his will. He needed something to fight for. Now that he found something new to fight for, he was able to kind of recharge himself. And I love the fact that he kind of got that like that reassurance that really kind of helped him take his firebending to the next level. So that would be it for me.
What about you, Edmund?
Oh man. On a sad note, it was probably, besides the obvious, the next one was Appa's Adventure or Appa's Day Out or whatever. Like
Appa's Lost Days.
Appa's Lost Days. That was tough. Like
when he goes and follows the bison whistle and he thinks it's Aang, bro, and it's Long Fang, that ripped my heart out, dog.
Yeah, that shit. That when Hir-O and Zuko finally meet back up before the fight, like that shit.
That's mine. Bro.
My bad. I shouldn't have.
Nah, bro. Look, when I tell you that I cannot resist. I get teary eyed every time I see that part. That is the one part that I cannot watch. That episode where Hir-O sleep and Zuko just sits there and waits for him. And then he wakes up and he starts talking and crying. And then Hir-O, bro, just turns around. And he's crying, bro. And he says, I just was afraid you lost your way.
Yeah.
But you found it. That part, I can't even watch that part. That part gets me every time. I've seen the show a million times. And that one part, bro, I can't do it. That gets to me worse than the Tales of Ba Sing Se does.
Yeah.
That part kills me every time. And real quick, man, real quick before we get out of here, just some extra stuff about these books, man, because I know you guys haven't read the books. They do get into what happened to Zuko's mom. They get into a lot of some stuff that was left, that left us hanging in the show. Basically, the books are just about the time between, now and Korra, which is 70 years. So it's just about them rebuilding the world into what becomes Republic City. You know what I'm saying?
Where is Republic City at, like, relative to the rest of the world?
So I am not entirely sure, but it does, basically what they do is, so one of the first conflicts of the novels is that Zuko, being Fire Lord, he wants to just make a clean slate for everybody. So he wants to get all of the Fire Nation people in the Earth colonies just completely out of it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But then there's like Fire Nation people who got married to Earthbending people and they have families. So Aang wants everybody to be able to stay where they're at, just get the, just keep them together. And that's kind of how that happens. And Zuko's mom is just a really crazy story, bro. Like, she was.
Hold on, wait. I plan on reading this. So okay. I felt you getting ready to get into a knob storytelling rhythm.
I was about to go hard, but don't. If you're gonna read it, I'm not gonna tell the story.
Okay, yeah, I think I want to check it out. Have you seen any of this stuff, Edmund?
I think I either watched like a YouTube video to get me caught up on all of the stories, or I read it on like Wikipedia or something. It was one of those where I don't know when I'm gonna come around to actually get in the comics, so I just let me get the gist of it and enjoy what I can. But it was mainly just because I was trying to find out what happened to Zuko's murder. The rest of them, I've come across videos, especially recently, that kind of added a little bit of dimension to like the Republic City aspect. That's why, because like another reason was one of the colonies became like a superpower financially because they had the Earthbenders and Firebenders working so well together that they were just coming up with some wild shit that if they forced them to break up, the economy of that area was just gonna crumble. So so it was getting bits and pieces of stuff like that. But.
Yeah, man. Super dope. I'm so glad we talked about Avatar: The Last Airbender. Hey, is there an Avatar live action movie? No, there's not. Okay.
Yo, so wait, real quick. We ended up watching that right afterwards. I've seen it once before, but I watched it again just to kind of hate watch it some. And it was bad. It was real bad.
I would love to comment it, but I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay.
All right. Let me just say the fact that Ember Island's little performance, the fact that was purposely trying to be bad, and yet it's still so much more entertaining.
It's so much better.
It says a lot.
Couldn't get over the fact that the firebenders couldn't make fire. Like they had to have fire around.
Can we stop?
He's making fire out of nothing.
Oh my god, dog.
Can we stop?
Yeah.
All right.
You want to talk about like 3 motherfuckers stomping real quick and then just moving one little boulder over here? Like, okay, my bad.
Worst movie ever.
Real quick before we get out of here, man. Give me an episode that you think is underrated. Not necessarily in your favorite episodes list, but just one that you think is really underrated that you should probably appreciate more. I'll go first so I can give you guys some time. I'm going to say The Drill. I think The Drill is a really good episode, and very sneakily has one of the best fights in the show versus Azula on top of The Drill. And Aang does this little thing where he covers his arm and the rock. You know what I'm talking about? And he like, come on, man. That episode and that little fight is really dope, man. So shout out to The Drill. That's an underrated episode.
I think for me, I would have to do the Blind Bandit, the first appearance of Toph, just because it was basically like wrestling, and I thought that was funny.
The Boulder's gonna win this in a landslide. I love that episode, man. Very good.
Oh,
what about you, Edmund?
I'm gonna go with. I had to look through the Wikipedia real quick. I gotta go with Nightmares and Daydreams, just because I just love that short scene and imagery of Momo and Appa, samurai.
That's great.
Like, I just want I would love to just have like a whole comic book or a spin-off episode of just those two on an adventure as samurai. Just
also, man, that episode is so real as an adult. Like,
bro,
not only that, but like I didn't know. I have had anxiety my entire life, but I was not able to identify it as anxiety until I was an adult. But what I thought I had was what Aang was experiencing in that episode, where he was just fucking freaking out and he couldn't understand why. I didn't know that was what anxiety was, but it 100% absolutely was. And I'm like, yo, dog, I feel you, Aang. Childhood Omari knows exactly what you're feeling right now. So that's a great answer.
So I love it, man. And real quick, man, there's so many good ones. How about not only The Chase? I love The Chase. The Chase is the episode where Appa's shedding and Aang takes his fur and just leaves it to him and just sits there when they haven't been sleeping.
Okay, you caught me. What, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right, bro. What's up?
What's your plan? What's going on? What do you want?
And then the classic Toph, we can take these guys 3-on-3. And Sokka's like, so you forgot me. She's like, oh, my bad. I guess I forgot to count you no bending and all.
I can still fight.
3-on-3 plus Sokka.
Hilarious, man. But I'm so glad we talked about Avatar: The Last Airbender. If you guys are listening and or watching and you've never seen it, you gotta watch it. It's on Netflix right now. No excuses, man. This is the time to get into it and check it out, man. Hopefully we'll come back again and bring some of this stuff up once Hir-O finishes The Legend of Korra.
Working on it.
Episode 41 in the book.
Hold on real quick. Yo, Edmund, where can we find you, bro?
Main spot is going to be Instagram, Art of Rufus. That's usually where I post up all my artwork and any projects. I'm slowly building that. Given all the stuff going on in the real world, I have not been feeling very creative lately, so I have not done much of anything.
I can understand that.
But I am hoping to have some good stuff, at least make a little bit of headway this week on something random. So Art of Rufus, ARTOFRUFUS. And if you track me down on Facebook, sure, follow me. I post a lot of random memes and shit and try to keep people up to date. I'm surprised I haven't hit Facebook jail yet. and I've been warned, but I still haven't hit it.
Still no jail time.
Still no.
We'll add Edmund on our Instagram when we post our top fives, and we'll add you on there when we post yours. And remember, man, follow us on Instagram at the SwordCast Pod. If you're watching on YouTube, you can stream it anywhere. Check it out, man. Anything else you got, Edmund?
Avatar is still the greatest cartoon ever. I love Steven Universe, high number 2, but Avatar, you grow with it. It's always perfect, anytime, any place. Plus Dave Filoni was on there and directed some episodes. So, and I love Star Wars. So, gang.
Sir.
And that's it. I love you guys. Appreciate it.
Hey, man,
yes, sir.
Bro, thank you,
bro,
for being our guest, man. This is definitely already one of my favorite episodes. I've been waiting to talk about Avatar, man. Shout out to you, Edmund. Shout out to our guest. Thank you all for listening to episode 41 in the books, man.
All right, man. All right, it recorded. Everything is good. So we all set. All right, fellas. I'm probably about to go to sleep instead of editing this, and I'll work on it tomorrow. What just happened? What was
my son just busted in my room like a madman.
All right, fellas. I'll holler at y'all.
Water bottle.
Was thinking Jedi, but to obtaining holocrons from both sides. I'm under gray skies. Everything that glitter ain't kyber crystal. My mind to lift you. In this time we shine together. Disarm your pistol, yo. Welcome to the SwordCast. SwordCast. My wordplay, my swordplay when blades clash. Welcome to the SwordCast. SwordCast. My wordplay, my swordplay when blades clash.